Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I thought I'd do something different. It's going to be a Conquest video. It's not going to be specifically a counters video, but it's going to walk through the latest Conquest, the Conquest we had at the weekend. I recorded all my battles, the wins and the losses, and I just thought it'd be quite fun to show you my thought process in going into these fights. I've got 59 G8s, so I can make a number of different teams. You'll see in this in the video here that I have to make some weird teams, but it's because I've kind of set up to counter certain things. And I'm not gonna lie, there's definitely things I did wrong here. There's mistakes I made. There's good RNG, there's bad RNG. It's all part of the parcel with Conquest. You need a bit of luck in some of these towers on occasion. So yeah, I just thought it would be quite fun to show you how it went. And shout out to Disney Misfits, because most of, in fact, all of the footage today will be me fighting their team. So anyway, let's just jump into it now. Okay, so this first fight was a Toy Story Villains team with Namari, which is really quite a difficult team, but I go in with my standard Oceanic counter. If you haven't seen my video already on this, please check it out. The link will be just above now. But in any case, the aim here is to you're bringing in Ursula because she's going to bring in the eels, and it's going to provide another target to this Toy Story Villains team. What happens is they're gonna hit you from the start because they're gonna start with haste, and that's actually gonna trigger Bubbles to take a turn. You can see in a second I actually get pretty lucky, but this is why Ursula's so important. The eels died, so there was mass blind, and Zerg actually missed Zerg vision on Bubbles, so that's obviously a bit of RNG that went my way. But as you say, you need a bit of luck. There's 50% chance it's going to hit or miss. So unfortunately on this occasion, they missed. I still feel comfortable with this fight, even if I lose Bubbles, because Moana and Maui combination is just so good. The aim here really is to pass the ticket from Bubbles to Maui as fast as possible, because then he's going to have tactics, and when you go to stun, so when you go to use his belly flop, he'll stun the board, and it just it'll get rid of those buffs that they start with, because effectively they'll lose a turn, and it just makes the fight much easier. So yeah, so this is a standard counter. You'll have seen this before, but to open the match, it's always one that I like to get under my belt. Sometimes I might not use Ursula. I might try to use Ralph. Other times I might use them both if it's a really strong team. Anyway, moving on. This next fight is your standard Elsa bomb. So we've got a full Sen 6 team here without Scrooge can really mess this up, and to be honest, I got a little bit lucky here. You'll see they killed Elsa and got her into stasis, and I got a little bit nervous about Polkanut getting into stasis before Polkanut dying before Elsa takes a turn. If Polka didn't die, then when I use these buffs now, because you want to effectively put Mufasa down first and then the die, and then explode, Polka can take some of those buffs. It wasn't the best Elsa bomb, I must admit. I wasn't that happy with this, but is what it is. So next up, we've got my Kingdom counter against a pretty decked out mythical team with Ursula. This is the hardest myth team you're going to come up against, and it's a punch up ultimately, and I lose this battle. But I do take some characters. You can definitely win this fight, and there's certain decisions in here which I felt I had to make, like this belly bump on Miguel. I thought I could take another turn with Shan Yu before he moves, but not the case. You can see this kind of goes south quite quickly, but you know, if I'm not going to win this fight, I'm going to aim to take out some characters. You can see as well with Esme and Unstoppable, the stasis doesn't work, so it's quite fortunate there. And you know, you can see Hades is low here, and he's probably the biggest threat in this tower. To take him out, of course Miguel revives him, but the aim here is to just take out a couple of characters, and I managed to do that. I do lose, but as I say, you know, as long as you can take out some characters, and you know, it wasn't a complete fail. I also messed up again, another mistake, when in a second I kill Ursula, but I forget that if you leave an eel alive, that she effectively comes back into in the next fight. So, and that's one you don't want. Ursula's really annoying. So, the aim here though really is Kingdom is a big control team, and you can actually control mythicals quite well with this team. Frollo can spread Hellfire, which is so effective because, you know, they start with all these starting buffs. It didn't quite work out here. And you know, spells, I like Duke because, you know, I can get some more crits maybe with Shan Yu off, and I also like a Splash Soak because it reduces increases those cooldowns, so reduces magic. But yeah, as you see, it's not my best fight, but you know, at this point I thought I had 3 characters down, but that wasn't the case. So you can see Ursula's back, and I decided to probably overkill this team, but it's still a decked out team. So princesses are a great counter to mythicals, and they obviously start with conquest bonuses as well. You can see the offense up and the unstoppable. This is a dicey battle if it's a full team, and if it starts with Hades, because Hades can just like rip through these princesses, but he's not here, so I felt pretty comfortable going into this. As I say, it was probably a little bit overkill, but I wanted to clean up my mess. And yeah, classic Miguel just keeps reviving. I feel like Conquest with Miguel just revives all the time. I don't know about you, but he just seems to just at least revive 2 or 3 times a match in these fights, which is just really annoying. But you can see it's never really in doubt. The princesses just, you know, there's just so much control. Mulan reduces turn meter with that second attack on her basic. When she's got tactics, it's going to be guaranteed. Merida is your big damage dealer, and I was working on Tiana. She wasn't ready for this fight, to be honest. So, you know, didn't have her available, so couldn't try her out. And then moving on. So this is going back to the Sen 6 battle. Now, normally, you know, it wasn't the best Elsa bomb because it didn't get rid of Mickey for one, but I saw my team struggling a lot with this, and it was kind of bugging me. So I wouldn't normally use this counter. It is just a kind of makeshift counter. I could have probably used Hercules here as well, but at the time I thought I wanted to use him for another counter, so I went with just a control team really, because you've got Dr. F who can heal and polymorph. You've got Davy who can, you know, who does big damage and can silence. The spells were dumb. Again, kind of stupid decision here really. I it didn't really account for the fact that there would be harmful immunity. That was just my mistake. And because Davy can revive, I thought it just to throw the taunt on him. But yeah, the aim here was just to stasis Mickey. At least I got rid of Donald, so I didn't feel like Mickey was much of a threat, because I would have been able to get that stasis off. I'd say there was a bit of luck in there with, you know, Minnie not charming, but you know, it is what it is, and I got the win, so that's the important thing. And that was the last team in this tower, so or just wanted to get a move on. And this is really where the theory crafting came in for me. I've been trying to fight princesses, so I actually fought 3 princess teams here, and I've been using, I've been trying counters out in PvP. So this counter here is just massive overkill with Ralph there, but the aim here is you've got Big Hero 6 Zerg. Now princesses are actually genuinely still faster than Big Hero 6, apart from Go-Go and I think Fred. But the aim here is to actually lose Baymax. So and I've got Ralph behind just in case that Merida hits him. But because Baymax dies, it gives Hero 100% turn meter, and that and then I can just pass it to past the Scan Zerg. Sorry, I brought in Sugar Rush because basically with Zerg he charges you up quite a lot, and this battle just goes very, very quickly. Moana lasts a little bit here because she gets healed, but I'd say this is far and away the best counter for this princess team. As I say, aim to lose Baymax because they will kill him, and and keep Hero and Zerg away from the action, and then scan him with the Hero. So that's that done. I'd say this is the hard counter for this new princess team with Tiana. As you can see from that battle, they all had full speed stones. I wanted to clean up another princess team. It didn't have Rapunzel, but it still had Tiana, and it still had it was quite a decked out team with all the speed stones. So I took in some. This is a very ugly team, but I don't have a full adventurers team, and I was basically just making use of characters here that are good characters. So Frank, I wanted to reduce turn meter with his waterfall. I love Snow G's in Conquest. It's such a good spell. Putting slows out and potentially stunning is just so good. And then obviously with dash, it's a no-brainer. Now watch how difficult this is for me. I thought I was in the clear here, but Moana had other ideas. The gumbo part. I am still new to this team, so watching the gumbo pot just heal Moana was kind of scary at one point, because you'll see in a second she does get to her wave, and I thought this was kind of game over for me, but fortunately not. I had Snowgies again, which is is great, and because I used Boom, it stunned the gumbo pot, and I could at least clean up at this point. This isn't a counter I'd say anyone should use. This was just me making use of my roster, which is what you've got to do in Conquest. So that's that. Next up, we were struggling with another one of these Tiana Princess teams, so I took in what I'd say is a soft counter. Probably could be a hard counter, really. You just have to watch out for Rapunzel's stun, and fortunately for me, she was an idiot and she didn't stun in the opening move. The aim here is it's basically a Barley bomb with either Mickey, but obviously I can't use Mickey here because he got silenced, or Donald, and I position it so that Daisy's behind Donald, and I can pass the book to either Mickey or Donald with Barley, and then it's kind of lights out for princesses. They're a squishy team, so it looks a lot easier than it normally is. This counter is definitely trickier when there's Beast, because and Beast and Belle, because of the Intimidate and the ability to kind of remove some turn meter. Okay, so next up, this was just a cleanup act. I just want to really show kind of how good Sven is for cleanups. He hits so hard. I think people forget how hard he hits. A bit of a misclick there. I didn't actually mean to use throw her rocks, but you'll just see now that it's basically Sven just critting for 9k, 10k. There is quite a good team for these cleanups. This isn't, you know, I don't have a maxed out Merlin. You know, just a couple of these are G7, so you know, to take out a G8 Donald and a G8 Ralph, I still think is pretty useful. And you know, just being able to make use of my roster there. Okay, so moving on. This is a really ugly team, not a typical counter. But as I said, I forgot to use Hercules earlier. I have a counter which I use against Sen 6, but I didn't have that many Sen 6 teams to clear this Conquest. So I ended up having, you know, and obviously I used Zerg for my Princess counter, so I ended up having this really kind of wishy-washy TSV mythical team. To be honest, like Megara and Hercules just work so well, and that's my aim here. The spells are really useful. I love Dumbo, reducing that turn meter, and obviously Mortal Potion is just fantastic. So yeah, you see, I guess it was more of a fun fight, really. You know, it wasn't. I'm not trying to prove anything here. It's not a super difficult team, and I've obviously got Hercules, but I'm just trying to really make use of my roster now and just sort of chip away at, with the teams I have left, which aren't many, by the way. I'm coming to the end of my counters here, really. But yeah, you can see it's didn't pose much of a threat, but you know, it was another 5.5k team cleared off the board. Okay, next up, I'm scraping the barrel really of my roster, and you know, I thought to take on Camden. Shout out to Camden. I thought to take on his Maurice team. It wasn't a Shan Yu lead, so I felt a little bit more comfortable with being able to use this counter. Didn't go so well. It's just, you know, there's certain teams in this game that aren't super amazing. This is one of them. You know, maybe I could have played it better, but I am just trying to make use of my roster and do as much as I can for my team with this fight. You'll see it doesn't really pan out, but when I kind of realize that I'm going to lose the battle, I just start trying to focus on certain characters that I know I can take out. Sheriff is a really annoying character, and he's got quite low health, so the aim here is to take out someone like him, or maybe Maurice. You know, get rid of, well, his leadership doesn't really matter, and he only affects the goat here. But yeah, you know, just trying to get some characters, cut some characters' ways for a cleanup, which I'm able to do in the next fight. And yeah, there's not really much to talk about here, so I'll just let the footage play out. You can see that sometimes I don't have the best decision making, but you know, as I say, getting the team a little bit low on health, and I'm looking at Sheriff to get rid of. You know, I'll let the footage play out here.
Here we go again. Trying hard, but you wanna be my friend. Ain't no place to hide, ain't no one to run to.
Gizmo is actually a really good tank. Even polymorphed, he's taking some hits. But yeah, he's about to go. Another machines from Maurice. There we have it. So, you know, another fail. That's the second one, I think. Or second or third? Third, I think. And I decided to clean up with what I've got left. I used Scrooge as a Sensit counter, but didn't really actually need him this time. So this is the best of the best of my roster remaining, and this is gonna finish me up really. But it just kind of showcases how good some of these characters are. I really like Quasi. I think Quasi is fantastic. Stitch, I don't need to say much more about. Everyone loves Stitch. I wailed on Wendy. I regret that. She's okay, but not worth the money I invested. I thought I could use her in raids, and she does have a place, but she's not that great. And Triton is actually great for the onward mutator tower, but I was just kind of we don't really face onwards in the onward teams in our position in Conquest, so didn't really need him for that. But yeah, you can see this isn't a super complicated battle. Beast obviously can be a bit scary, but by himself even. But there's plenty of characters here to get the job done. And I think this is going to be it now. One more. There we go. Okay, so that is... Let's pause that. So that is the latest Conquest. I'm just going to switch my screen again back to my face. Okay, so couple of takeaways. I learned what teams were good against princesses. The new princess teams. My testing had paid off. I think I could have used Ralph better. I think I could use him elsewhere. But Big Hero 6 to get the job done. Just make sure that you position your characters correctly, because you don't want Zerg sitting behind Baymax, for example, because Merida can do so much damage with that basic, with the splash damage. So that was important. But that was good testing there for me. I'd have liked to have shown Kingdom working a little bit better. That team can definitely win that fight, but it was nearly a 6k team, and it was a punch up. You can also sub in Quasi. I've used Quasi in that team before, but I wanted to use Namari here instead. It does sometimes depend on Miguel just reviving randomly, and in Conquest he can be a bit annoying. I would have liked to have shown other Sen 6 counters as well, but as I said, just there weren't that many that we're facing this time. Normally there are. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. It was fun for me, to be honest. I actually quite liked walking through my wins and losses. You can see how much of an idiot I am at times, or you can see certain things that my line of thinking that gets me through certain battles, because I think I recorded 9 wins last Conquest. A couple of them were obviously the cleanups that you see, but if that's what it takes, sometimes chipping away at teams is really important, and finishing them off, as I said, like Sven is one of my go-to. I like to use Captain Jack and Jafar, who I've just got sitting at G7 for charming characters when you're doing cleanups, because that's always useful. But yeah, you can see my thought process today, and yeah, if you enjoy the video, please like and subscribe. If you've got any questions about counters, please leave them in the comment section down below, and I'll try to get back to you. If you've got any cool counters or stuff that you'd like to share with us, with me, please do. I'm always on the lookout. Like, I spend so long trying to figure out ways to counter Sen 6, for example. And I've spent a lot of time trying to figure out these mutators as well. But the more information I get, the better, really. because we all want to do well, and we want to have these close, intense conquests where you're really just having to outsmart the other team. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video today. Please give me a like, please subscribe, and I will get to that Ascension video shortly, but thank you for watching.